And there was no figure who had more impact on the history of the early republic and sort of set up what would become the United States than Alexander Hamilton. And Alexander Hamilton is a figure that I've been obsessed with for years. I wrote one of my first college papers on Alexander Hamilton and financial policy and banking. I always like to say that I was sort of into Alexander Hamilton before it was cool. I used to sort of celebrate him before the shitty musical sort of celebrated him.
Right.
It's so funny because like people will ask me because they know how much of a sort of a Hamilton file I am. They'll be like, what'd you think about the musical? And I'm like, I have to kind of grin and be nice depending on who I'm talking to.
It's not my favorite.
It's great. It's great. You know, and I have to kind of, it's cringeworthy and awful, but like, the only benefit is that it got people interested in learning about Hamilton, who I think is, you know, maybe outside of Thomas Jefferson, probably the most influential founding father in American history. Like he is the guy who created the country as it is. There's actually this great quote that kind of sums up why I think he is so important. And it's actually from a conservative columnist, George Will, who wrote, "There is an elegant memorial in Washington to Jefferson, but none to Hamilton. However, if you seek Hamilton's monument, look around. You are living in it. We honor Jefferson, but live in Hamilton's country, a mighty industrial nation with a strong central government," which is true. So when we think about the early republic, we think about the founders really were mostly divided up into two camps. You had the Federalists and you had the Anti-Federalists. The Anti-Federalists, or small d, the Democratic Republicans, people like Jefferson, who wanted a more limited, smaller government, a nation of sort of artisans and an agricultural republic. Everybody sort of had 40 acres and a mule, and it was a sort of yeoman farmer democracy, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the other end were the Federalists, which were Hamilton, who wanted to build the nation not just agriculturally, but industrially, that knew that industrial capitalism was going to be the future of the world. Right. And that in order to build the nation that we wanted to build, we would have had to do, you know, very strong state-directed industrial policy. And that's Hamilton.